And well, in this video, I'm going to try to explain from a legal perspective, aka Braai show fights, which Cassper Nyovest has been low-key marketing for. As most of you guys probably know by now, there's a fight between aka and Cake Media, which also involves Cassper. And since I'm a final year law student, a lot of people have been asking me to actually give my legal take on the matter. And to start from the beginning, what I'm getting is that aka and one of his best friends, Wish Mahak, with his company Makuru.com, made a show called The Braai Show, which started on aka's app and then at some point ended up at the SABC. But obviously, aka sort of had to pull out because presumably at this point of the saga surrounding him after the passing of his fiancée. Another aspect of this thing would be that Makuru.com sold its rights over the show to Cake Media, and at this point I'm not quite certain whether or not Makuru.com itself was sold or it only sold the rights it had over the show, but one of them, if not both of them. And Cake Media decided to hire Cassper Nyovest as a replacement. Then that angered aka, who called it opportunism and mentioned that he's still half owner of the show according to their partnership, and that Cake Media had no right to hire Cassper Nyovest without his consent, and they threatened to sue the SABC if they air the episodes with Cassper. Cake Media then responded citing that aka does not own the show and that Makuru.com started the concept and even had a production service agreement with the Bar Leader TV to produce the show before entering into the partnership with aka, and that agreement with the Bar Leader TV stated that they will own all of the content and rights that flowed out of that, and it is for that reason that as a result the SABC is going to air the show and have started advertising it. Cassper Nyovest as well has been taking jabs at Keenan for trying to sue the SABC. And so what do I think? I first have to state that I've not seen the full contracts. I've only seen the clauses that these guys have quoted in their letters. But first, let's answer what a partnership is. A partnership is a business shared by multiple owners. It's not really registered, and it doesn't have to be registered. It's a partnership, and more importantly, a partnership owns all the assets under that partnership. But then the big question would be, does the partnership own the Braai show? And quite frankly, that's not an easy answer, and that is because of the poor contract in this situation. And maybe that is because the people who started the partnership were actually friends, and so maybe the lawyer didn't properly address the things that needed to be addressed. If these guys had a good lawyer, they were supposed to address what is going to happen to the existing IP being intellectual property like concept. Even though I didn't see the partnership agreement, you can almost argue that it was not included because had it been included, we wouldn't be here. In most cases, the existing IP can either be passed to the partnership, as in be owned by the partnership, and sometimes have clauses that address what is going to happen should that partnership be dissolved, as in who's going to own it afterwards. Or in some cases, the IP continues to be held outside the partnership but just licensed to the partnership. In this case, it was not explained what should happen to the IP. And so what does that mean actually? Cake Media is arguing that since Makuru.com had owned the concept outside the partnership before the partnership was even created, they therefore own the show. But while I find their ownership of the concept immaterial in this case because they're supposed to answer whether or not at any point the ownership of the Braai show concept was ever brought into the partnership. Failure to state that they're not bringing the Braai show under the partnership can be interpreted as them intending to have that concept under the partnership, because if there was a clause in the agreement with the Bar Leader TV that stated that the Bar Leader TV would not own anything and will be just used as a production company, which in my view was not really necessary, why is there no such clause with Keenan? And if the idea was for Makuru.com to be the sole owner, why did they not have some sort of employment contract or a services contract with aka like they do with Cassper? What was the intention behind the partnership if they wanted to treat aka like a hired presenter and not the co-owner of the show? Because for example, with marriage in community of property, although at this point is a very different legal topic with its own legal jargons, I'm still gonna use an example out of it, saying that if you fail to state that you want to be married out of community of property, then you're automatically married in community of property. Can we say the same about partnerships? As in, if there was already an existing IP in the play which was also used by the partnership to the partnership's benefit, can we interpret that as Makuru.com having intended to bring ownership of their concept to the partnership? And can we take that concept as their contribution to the partnership? Because in a partnership, we've got to contribute something. Can we say that they came out with a concept and partnered up with a big artist who has viewership value to create a show, and does that partnership own the show? And the answer is, I don't know. You see, unlike divorces and matrimonial systems like community of property, fights about partnerships with existing IPs do not frequent the courts at the same rate as divorces, because with marriages, people fall in love for 2 seconds, then jiggy, I want to spend the rest of my life with you, and all of a sudden we have divorce and all of that. So the precedent in this case is not as well developed for me to give a clear winner. And it does not help that I did commercial law online due to COVID, of which I just bunked a lot of classes to make YouTube videos, and I wrote the exam in bed with my textbook by my side. So the truth is, this thing can go both ways. AKA can win as well, Cake Media can still win. But then what if AKA wins? Are they going to fire Cassper Nyovest? That's the question, and the answer is that is highly unlikely. They will probably just entitle AKA to half of the profits that were made by the show, as well as any damages he may have suffered, because they've already spent a lot of money obviously on the production. But then that was only just my first legal take on the matter. Obviously it is still a developing case, and I will update you guys on what happens. According to the letter that Cake Media sent, AKA was supposed to retract everything he said by 1 on Monday the 16th of August, but still to this date he still hasn't. So we can say that maybe he's gearing up to take them to court. I don't know, but still, you guys tell me what you think about it. Just leave your comments in the comment section and I'll try to respond to them. And if you like the video, please give a thumbs up because it does help the channel, and please do not forget to subscribe for more updates on fave celebrities.